chat right now. We got
different. So there's a lot of sound, there's a lot of noise.
Why is everybody in slow motion?
Without further ado, let's bring on Chris. Further ado. But without further ado, let's bring on Lori. We are live now. That would have been bad, folks. H just put on his fireman's hat and saved us, I think.
I know. We just put out a fire in the garbage here from probably a bowl that didn't.
I'm like, that does not smell like a toque.
No,
like,
it doesn't.
No,
it smells like paper burning.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're safe. Yeah.
Good job, man.
I was like, good thing it didn't happen during live. And then Chris like, well, we are live.
Yeah. What would we have done? Would we have to pee on it or something?
Well, I have my bottle of water here.
Yeah.
I'll probably drop my whole Yeti in there. That's what would have, and your cup and the bong water, everything.
Would have been an awful way to start September, folks. A better way.
But happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. First of all, I really hope that we are live on Facebook. I see one comment from Facebook, so it looks like we're good. It was having some weird issues. StreamYard did a nice little update, which I haven't even told you about, which allows for 1,000 people in a webinar style. So maybe we'll utilize that feature someday. If we don't want to do it live on social media and we have our own little events, that would be cool. But shout out to tech companies for always updating. Nothing gives me more anxiety than seeing a new interface on a tech that I use, but that's part of
as long as it works, that's what matters. I know what's the worst is like, oh, new update, great, but then it just doesn't work.
It's like, where's the file button? Where's the menu button? Where's all the things that I know how to do like the back of my hand that now I don't even know how to find? Anyways, it's September. It's another Friday live, kind of. You may have noticed a new thumbnail.
That's right. Yeah, different naming. We decided to do a little rebrand. Kurt, why don't you tell us a little bit about going from Friday live to
Growin Buds with BudTrainer. So when we started these lives, it was supposed to be very casual, but H can't do anything casual. He's got to slowly get better and better, and they've evolved. But what hasn't evolved is the name of the show. We just stuck with Friday Live. I was worried that Saturday Night Live might come after us for taking over their branding. Just kidding, obviously.
Especially when we get more popular. Right?
Yeah, eventually we will get popular, and it could have been a problem. So we're going to go with Growin Buds because that's what we like to do. It also has a couple different, play on words kind of thing. Right. We're Growin Buds, we're friends. Right. BudTrainer, we got Buddy. Right. So I think it fits. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. And the show for now is going to stay relatively the same. We're going to try and make our show-offs and our teachings and educations a little bit easier to follow and higher quality just on resolution and sound quality. So we're doing a little extra prep work to do that. We're going to continue to have people on in the second half of the show as well. So we'll get that invite link up to you guys. But yeah, it's going to be called Growin Buds from now on. Still a live show, still Friday, still 4 p.m. But just finally picked a name after over a year of doing these now. So I guess we blew right through that 1 year anniversary. I don't even know when we exactly started.
I don't even know either. We were just out there, and you're like, let's pick up the phone and go live. And I'm glad that we got to where we got here. Super excited about this kind of like rebranding, a little bit more focus, guys. It's because of your support and what you guys tell us that, we're able to improve week over week and bring good content to you guys. We'll also be once in a while bringing guests that can talk about cannabis cultivation with everyone and hopefully teach us a thing or two. And the giveaways are going to continue the same way that they have always been. We're always going to give you guys company updates as well, including today we have an exciting update about some new packaging for the bud clips and also Global Grow Cup when the Global Grow Cup is running. And when it's not, we need to decide what type of plant we're going to grow.
Very cool. Yeah. And then I shot a quick update from my grow room at home. I have a couple questions for you, H, that I said in the video. So we'll play that in a little bit, and then H can diagnose what's going on with my plants. So it's going to be a fun episode. We'll check in with your GGC plant We'll check in with the plant that we transplanted last week.
Yeah.
For those of you following us on Facebook, we got a couple posts doing really well, so we're excited about that too. So if you see our posts, please drop a comment and get in on the conversation. Most of the posts are like funny reel styles, but if you read the captions, there's usually some sort of question or educational piece that we want some discussion around. So
yeah, and
really,
we've already been loving the engagement, guys. It's been awesome, and we're really trying to keep it to people who like to cultivate cannabis, you know. So it's very much so for the community.
Yeah. So we got a couple options, H. Do you want to start with the packaging announcement, my update, your update?
Yeah, I think so. I think the packaging announcement will be cool because that's what we're going to be giving away today. So what we have here, guys, is the new Bud Clips packaging, and we have
the extended clip.
Exactly. We have a new way that they're available now, which is the 40 pack. So as you can see here, we have the black ones and the yellow ones, and this is the 20 pack, the original one. We have changed the packaging already to these smaller little boxes, but now we have the 40 packs as well. They're going to sell for, like, per clip, it's going to end up being cheaper than the small 20 packs anyways. And they're just going to be the Bud Clip sleeve. That's what we're calling them. So we're excited about this new different design here. Today we're going to be giving one of these away. So the winner is going to choose between black and yellow of the 40 pack. And if you already have too many Bud Clips and you don't need any more, you can choose another product, or these make for a great gift as well. So pretty excited about these boxes here. These different Bud Clips are going to be available on Amazon very soon, as well as on our website. We're just getting them into our warehouse in order to make them available. So this is super exciting.
And not only the packaging is new and improved, the actual clip went through a little change, right? We got the logo on the bottom, and they're a little bit reinforced, I think, on the pins or something like that.
I think it's going to be hard to see here. We should have made it.
You probably won't be able to see it, but we do have a little BudTrainer logo on the backs now.
Yeah, so now the backs is the Bud Clips.
It's going to be very hard to see. Anyways.
Maybe there's a little BudTrainer logo, and yes, the middle of them is the tiniest little bit thicker, so that they are now stronger to the band. So yeah, super excited about these new Bud Clips, and you guys will be able to see them online pretty shortly, as well as for the retailers. If you guys ever shop at your local grow shop, they might very well have BudTrainer. We're in over 200 retailers around the world, and this is how you're going to see them. This is the new counter display unit for the Bud Clips here. It comes with 12 of them, and we also have a 48 pack that we're super excited to deploy to stores in the next couple of months.
We got the whole crew in here. I'm loving the chat, guys. One of the most exciting things for us is when we're setting up here and we see like 10 comments already, and that's what we had like 5 minutes before the live. So thank you for choosing Growin Buds to kick off your weekend.
That's right.
And H, I'm excited to get your take on what's going on in my place. Perfect. So let me share the screen. I hope I'm doing this right. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second.
We're going to be having a look at Kurtz's plant. He did a little video earlier today from his house, and what we're trying to do here is just share that. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Friday, we are at my house this time in my grow room, and I've got 7 plants on the go right now. I want to show you 4 from seed and 3 clones. Probably going to get H's advice right after this video ends on what to do with the clones especially, but let's check out these plants. Alrighty, here are my 4 from seed. So I have this one here is my White Widow, and then I have blueberry, another blueberry, and then one of my personal favorites, an LA Confidential that's a little bit ahead of the other 3. And then here are my 3 clones. So this is a clone from an Ice Dream Cake that I just wasn't going to be able to flower. So I ended up taking a few clones from it, thinking that I could keep going. They are putting out 3 fanned leaves. Not looking the greatest, to be quite honest. So I'm not too sure if I'm going to keep these. Might decide to keep them just so I can do some extraction with the yield, but not really looking to get nice big buds or do too much training on those 3. So H, would love your opinion on that. but the other 4 are absolutely thriving. The 2 blueberries and white widow are from our friends at Seedsman, and they're being fed the Athena Pro line. So just absolutely loving life down here. This little scrog frame I built was for that last ice dream cake. I actually got 14 ounces from that. I got that plant pretty late from H, so I built the frame quite high. I would actually like this to be quite a bit lower if I'm going to continue to reuse it, but I needed to build it that high for that last plant. And you know what, 14 ounces, I think it was worth the extra work. So yeah, back to you guys and myself in the studio, and hopefully we're having a good Friday live so far.
All right, H. So the 4 I'm very happy with. The 4 I am very happy with, but those 3 clones not looking great. I do have 14 ounces of that weed in bud, but I would love to do some more extraction because despite having a 14-ounce plant, I only got 9 grams of hash or 8 grams of hash
From the trim?
From the trim.
Oh, that's
and
it.
Even like here's the thing. The popcorn buds weren't popcorn buds.
Okay.
Like I even gave you a branch, and you've been
they were
going
big,
from bottom to like top,
That's right.
and so there wasn't like a lot of those larfy buds that you don't really want to trim. So I think that probably contributed to not getting too much of hash. But if I grow out those 3 clones that are putting up those 3 petal leaves, and you know, the internodal spacing's not great, just, you know, obviously don't look as good as those 4 plants. Would it be worth it to get just for extraction, or would you probably just chop those and not flower them?
Well, I mean, you have some space there in your grow space. Those 4 plants that are in that tray with a trellis, they will occupy that space, but then you still have that corner. So because they're already there, you might as well keep them. Of course, there's going to be the extra feeding for the space that you had over there. And you have 3 plants after flowering them. Even if you flower them now, they would occupy even more than that space. So you might actually pull one, the weakest one, out and flower 2.
Okay.
So that way you're not going to have to water an extra pot all the time. And those 2 are going to fill up that square footage the same way, I would say. You might have to do less defoliation actually after the flower stretch because they have more space to now flower, right? And then you can support them with the bud huggers because they're outside of the trellis net. Now, when it comes to those 3-fingered leaves, those small mutations, they can happen due to so many different circumstances. So the plant has its genome, its DNA that's supposed to grow, you know, its regular leaves. If it's, you know, indicas are going to be a bit wider. If it's sativas are going to be a bit skinnier and so on. But there's so many factors such as environmental factors, pests, for example. Pests can cause different mutations. The seed or the clone that you took could have had a mutation in itself. And what it looks like, however, from what I saw in those plants, that they do have regular leaves just under those 3-fingered leaves. So
the newer ones are putting out 5 petals now too. It's been a while,
right?
Like I transplanted all of those plants at the exact same time, right? So you can tell like those clones are nowhere near what the other ones are looking like. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then you change their environment, so that could have caused, you know, the 3-fingered leaves. So that's just something not to worry about. Those mutations, I mean, the worst is when it herbs, right? Because that's another thing that can happen as well when you switch your plant's environment, when there's some stress from pests or from the environment itself, from nutrients, from too much light or too little light, too cold, too dry. Those things, they can cause mutations as well, but they can then cause herbs, which is a mutation when you think about it, because a female plant shouldn't mutate into a herb, right? So that's the only thing you want to be careful with. Just keep an eye on them to make sure that they're not putting out pollen sacs. And if they are, you might be able to remove them if there's just a few, and if not, then you might.
Hey, if they're not and I chop them down, I was going to chop them down potentially anyways. So
that's right.
There's no real loss.
There's nothing to lose there.
Kevin says run them for sure. So probably going to end up running them because that ice cream cake strain, I'm really liking it.
Yeah.
It's potent. I told you last week, I'm just losing track of where I am in life when I smoke that stuff. So
right. Well, that's the point.
Yeah. Anywho, we have a check-in with H's plants between the GGC plant, the 2 that are very close to flower, and then the one that we transplanted last week. So I'm going to cue that video up right now, and we'll get into that one, and then we'll do some live training.
Live training, yeah.
What we are hopefully known for, right? That's our thing.
That's our thing.
All right.
All right, guys. So here is my Global Grow Cup plant, which is now on week 5 to 6 of flower. As we can see here, it's already fully stretched. We have these buds growing bigger and bigger by the day. However, something weird is happening here because the water is really not going through my bud cups anymore. It keeps pooling on top and then getting absorbed by those top roots, but it just cannot make its way through anymore. The bud cup is so hard, I can't even squeeze it. So there's probably just too many roots in there that are blocking that. And what's happening now is I'm getting a little bit of a deficiency here. So these buds are a little bit thinner than what I would have hoped for, but the trichome deposits are doing really well. We're using the Athena nutrients exactly week by week as the program recommends. And all in all, that's right. All in all, I think it's pretty good. Pretty happy with the results. And then over here, we have this blue dream plant, which is turning out to be massive here. Look at the size of these buds here. They're like 2 inches across already. It's almost the size of my fist. And they're very, very heavy too. And funny enough, there's another plant here right beside it. I always forget the name. It's a gorilla jealousy. And the buds are tiny little buds, although super crystally and very sticky as well. And this one here is pretty much ready for a harvest, I would say, this week. And I have to check the trichomes, but if not this weekend,
How long have you been
week.
flowering that gorilla jealousy? Because that's the one I'm growing for the GGC plant.
This one here, they started flowering. It was, I think it's on this one here, flower was July 13th. So it's going to come up to 2 months now. So I'd say 7 to 8 weeks is where they're at, like week 6 to 7 to 8.
That must be doing really well because on Seedsman sites, it says 9 to 11 weeks for the
Right.
gorilla jealousy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The top buds are pretty mature, but the bottom ones are not yet. The thistles are all white, so I'm waiting a little bit to kind of even them out. And then here we have the plant that we transplanted last week. And check it out. It's doing massive already. This plant here was watered once during the transplant and then just another time during this week, and it's growing like crazy. These top branches over here, they were tiny. I had just topped it and now they're all ready for training. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to pick up this plant and we're going to do some training during our live. How about that?
Beautiful. All right, let's get some training going. All righty, and here that lady is. There you go. I'm gonna adjust the camera for H, and you can do
Actually,
your thing.
pull it.
You
I'll
wanna
pull
just
it
do
in
the
the
middle?
middle right here. Yeah, there we go. That's easy. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I'm gonna tilt the mic a little bit. All right, guys. So what we have here is the plant that we transplanted last week, and different than what we recommended the BudTrainer method, which is transplant first and then top later. I did the topping first because the plant was getting a little bit too big. I should have transplanted it before, but didn't have time. So then we transplanted it later. So it's been topped about a week and a half ago, and these top branches here are already growing to almost 6 inches in length, which means it's past time for us to train them. Now, typically, you want to use the bud clips on branches when they're a bit shorter. These ones here are getting a little bit hardy already. We're risking breaking them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bud clips just on the top branches a little bit higher up versus using it on the main stalk and getting that mainline split like we usually do. And then I'm going to use the bud huggers on the bud pots to train the lower ones. The lower ones, they're not very strong. So instead of pulling them down and risking them getting dwarfed, I'm actually just going to leave them where they are so that these ones here can then be lowered to the same height and everything can catch the same amount of light to hopefully get them to develop at the same pace. So first of all, I'm going to start with our bud clips here on this top branch. So I'm going to try to get right behind it here to see if you guys can see the branch more isolated. This one right here. I'm going to select
a part in the middle where I can bend it with my hand past where you would go with the bud clip. So if I can do this here with my hand, it means the bud clip can just be inserted in there, and all it's going to do is hold its shape. You don't even have to do much of a branch squeeze over here, because the branches, they are flexible enough in this middle here that they're not going to break. So you just have to be careful, and the best way to test it is just do a little bit of bending before you actually put your clips in. So then they just have to slide in, super easy. Now we have the branches from the second node from the top. This is the first node from the top. Now we have the second node from the top. These branches here are already a little bit flat. So what we're going to do is just hold them in place with the bud huggers. I'm going to try and pull them. If you look at the branches below here, they're very close to each other. There's one here and one here. So I'm going to try and pull them apart like this so that we get more of a spread, kind of like a pizza slices where they have all of those slices 1/8 away from the other. So I'm going to put it on one of these grommets of the bud huggers here, pulling it a little bit off to the side. I'm going to put the bud hugger on the other opposite side of the branch here. And then I'm going to bring it to the edge, and I'm going to pull it, choosing a height. The final height here needs to be around the same height as the top branches in the lower one. So I'm going to pull it right here. So now they're all at the same level, so that the light hits them at the same intensity and they develop at the same pace. That's the goal. Now we want to be doing this symmetrically. So I'm going to be choosing the very opposite hole here on the bud pots, and I'm going to be putting the bud huggers here. I'm going to pull this one the opposite way now so that we can again maintain that distance. I'm going to pull them a little bit lower than they were. There we go. So now we have 4 branches trained, 2 here with the bud huggers, 2 with the bud clips, and we have these lower branches here. 2 of them, which are from the very bottom node, are already out of the way, and they have already found their place here. They're as low as the top ones are, and there's no need to train them. We don't want to put them even lower and then risk them not developing. So we're just going to leave these lower branches here where they are. And then we have the second node above, or the node above that one, the second from the bottom, where these branches, they are slightly above the ones below. So what we're going to do here is just put some bud huggers to make sure that as they grow, they don't grow too much taller, and it actually pulls them down as they grow. So it's almost like they're not ready for it yet, but we can put these here in advance so that when they get there, they're just going to keep their same size. And for this, because we want to pull them the other way, I'm going to be using the same hole in the bud pots to give them that perfect band here. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 with this last one.
I just have to point out something right now. I think Barb's watching, but she's like a few minutes behind. So I think she's reacting to the plants from earlier. Anyways, I just thought that was funny.
Right? Okay, and that's it here, guys. I just actually am going to move this one node up so that as the branch grows, it grows through these bud huggers.
It's not so hard, guys.
It's not so hard. I'm going to try and flip this over here. As you guys can see, everything is super nicely split and spread out. So now there's light that's going to be hitting this plant from every angle, and then it's going to develop from there, and we're going to gain a lot more square footage here. So the idea is to keep your buds all at the same height. The tops now are all exactly where the other ones are. In a couple of days, I'm going to come here and I'm going to top this plant again on the top 4 branches, the top 2 nodes, and then I'm going to wait another 3 to 5 to 7 days, and I'm going to flower it. I expect it to fill up an entire 3x3 tent with a trellis net that I'm going to be putting on. That's it for today's training, guys. Any questions on how to train your
I'm very
plants?
excited to see you grow one plant in a 3x3, because typically you like to fit at least 2 or 3, sometimes 4 in your tents, and you flower a bit earlier so that you have a nice variety and the plants aren't too big. There's problems with going too big, right? Like bud rot. If you get way too big of a plant, you just run into problems, and obviously you're investing more time into growing a bigger plant, so the stakes are higher, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah, losing one big plant really sucks when they have 4 and one doesn't do so well. You don't get so upset. There is more work involved with more plants. You have to water more plants. You have to transplant more plants. You have to take care of more plants. You have to defoliate more plants. Whereas if you have only one, it might take an extra week or 2. But you've got 14 ounces out of yours. It's going to take a while to go through that. And if you can grow 4 plants and all of them are a single massive plant, you can still afford to do that. And the reason why I used to do with a number of plants is because you can also flower them earlier, right? So you just go through the cycle a little bit quicker. But once you get to a certain level of personal production, you don't need much more. You can actually afford to have some bigger plants. It's more fun to grow them. They look nicer. You're more proud of that work. So I'm looking forward to flowering this one here in a 3x3 tent just by itself with a trellis net. And I'm going to try to fill it from corner to corner everywhere so that we have buds going through every square in that trellis net.
Very cool. We got some people talking about Halloween already in the comments.
Oh, right on. Halloween time. What do we have?
Some people, as soon as September hits, they're like, summer's dead. Let's go to Halloween. Just talking about getting some costumes and stuff like that. So
right on.
Fun stuff. Somebody, Kevin said, I did 3 plants and filled a 10x5.
Wow.
That's a massive.
That's great.
10, 3 massive grows for sure. Guys, we've got next up on the docket is our Grow Me show-offs. So you might have seen in the comments, I've been posting the link a couple times. That's the link as well on the screen. If you click that link and get into the back end, hopefully with headphones and good internet, because that always helps, you'll be able to come onto the show and show off what's going on in your tent. You can just show it off if you think things are going really well. If things aren't going really well, you can ask H, just like I did at the beginning of the show, for some advice. For those of you who are newer to the lives, or sorry, Growin Buds now.
That's right.
H is a graduate of Niagara College, not to mention UW for engineering. So pretty smart guy, knows pretty much anything you could know about these beautiful plants that we grow. And if he doesn't know, he knows how to find the answers. So we have Smoke in the Water is going to be coming up first here, guys. But please do jump on via that link if you've got something to show us. I see Barb said that she's battling some. Ooh, let me see what she's battling.
Do some diagnostics here.
Yes.
With
not that one.
some mold.
Barb, yeah, I am battling mold on my Blue Dream. Wah.
Oh no.
Wah.
Yeah. Come on the live barbed wire. Maybe we can do a little diagnostic and see what's going on.
And then James Hall asked, do the cups not get root bound? If you're growing it from seed to harvest, I'm sure yes.
Oh yes, they don't get root bound if you're transplanting your plant like
At the
you
right
should
time,
be.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, but that plant has been grown in the bud cups from its very inception. So I would imagine that there's not even square millimeter of space for any more roots to grow into it. So it's as bound as it can possibly get.
When we were doing the photo shoots for the bud cups, we did have a couple plants that were probably a little bit late for transplant. And we did some root shots, or root porn, if you want to call it that. And if you look into them, they're very high quality photos. And you look at the bottom of your root ball, you can see just the little roots that have been air pruned. But they haven't started circling or gone out of the bud cup. So the air pruning from the triple drainage is working really well. That triple drainage, again, is the tilted bottom, the 3 slits at the bottom of the tilted bottom. And then, of course, it's raised about 1 centimeter off the ground. So if you have it on a plate to catch your runoff water, that runoff water is not going to be submerging your roots, causing all sorts of issues. Right?
That's right. Yeah, and even that plant, when I remove it, there's not going to be many roots at the very bottom. The roots are all going to be up at the top, which is really what you want. So I think we're going to get Smoke in the Water here, guys. And like Kurt said, if you want to show off your plants, if you have any questions, if you want to diagnose what's wrong with your plants, this is the time for you to come on the live here. We have a few people already in the backstage. We're going to be bringing you guys one by one. And we're going to be starting with Smoke in the Water right now. Smoke in the Water, what's going on?
Hey, just trying to maintain the beast.
Right on.
That's beautiful. Can you just rotate and then rotate back your camera?
It looks like your camera didn't rotate there.
Try one more time. It should flip. Unless you're on locked orientation, potentially.
Maybe it could be locked. Let's put that on full screen there.
So Smoke in the Water, just for those of you who aren't here every week, he's shown us this beautiful, his first time scrogging, I believe.
Yes.
And just absolutely massive for an outdoor scrog. I really would love if you could figure out that portrait mode thing, but it is looking beautiful nonetheless. Actually, that's better. Just straight up and down at least is giving us a better view. Look at the stalk structure on that thing. Getting some buds coming through already too.
Yeah, look at that. The crowning, it's almost done with the stretch phase now. Maybe another few days, and then it'll just start thickening up. But it's looking great. So you have there is what, 8x7?
No, it's a 5x7.
5x7, right?
We
on.
clarified that because I think you first thought it was an 8x7 right?
A 5 and an 8 they're kind
5
of
by
close
8,
together.
Yeah, 5x8.
So yeah, there we go. No,
Smoking
right
too
on.
much of the good stuff
Yeah,
before this.
no, that's gonna give you a good couple of pounds there. Are you putting any nutrients on the soil?
Yeah, I put the Grow Dots long extension in the ground before I planted, and then I'm also topping it occasionally with some canna beds or now canna grow or canna flour.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's great. You're gonna have a fun time defoliating that if that's the plan in the back corner. It looks like you did a good job lollipopping it already.
I have done it many times, and it just keeps it keeps going.
Keeps putting it back, eh? It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
No, that's excellent though.
Yeah, she's getting pretty tall.
Where does the sun rise and set over there? Which side?
I am facing east.
Okay, so that's where the sun would rise there. So you get a lot of afternoon sun then there.
Yes. Yep.
Excellent.
No, it looks great, man. And we're looking forward to seeing the buds that it puts out.
I
actually did mention you to Troy, the Northern Scrogger, and I think he checked out your plant. I'm not sure if you guys connected at all, but he was very impressed.
He hasn't got back to me. I sent him a message, but what's that?
Okay.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no worries. No, I just said he checked out your plant while we were playing some Call of Duty, and he said that was pretty awesome that you're doing so well for your first time scrogging, especially outdoor. Like we don't see. I watch the scrog school all the time, and most people do it indoors just because it can be a challenge to scrog outdoors, from what I've been told.
So far, it's doing all right, but we'll see. I mean, I have been through bugs. I've been through rabbits. And she just keeps coming back. The more I train her, the more I abuse her, the better she gets.
That's why training works, right?
That's right.
That's right.
Add that extra little stress, and then they all get better.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well,
I need to get some bud clubs for this one.
Oh yeah, look at that, a little one.
That's awesome. Are you going to move that one inside? Like, do you have an inside setup as well, or just outdoors for you?
Just outdoor for right now. That's an auto, but I plan to move it indoors. I just got to get a light.
Yeah, I was just thinking it was probably not going to get enough light this time of the season.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, getting late already.
But anyways, thank you so much for coming on and showing this off again. We've got 3 more behind you, so we're going to move on. But please come back throughout the flowering cycle here, because very excited to see how this one turns out.
All right. Thanks, guys, for having me on.
All right, have a great weekend. All right, up next is Brian Newman. So it looks like he's got his camera facing the tent, and I'm going to trust that he's ready to come on in.
All right, Brian, how's it going?
We
Good, how are you?
There we go. Excellent. How's that beauty doing?
Okay, is there a delay?
Yes, the delay. Brian.
It was okay.
And then what happened?
It was okay up until about last week, where I think it's a magnesium deficiency.
That looks it looks like a mixture of deficiencies. I would say more on the potassium side.
Pretty pale.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you guys.
Yeah, no, that's
I heard
okay.
that.
It looks like a bit of a generalized nutrient deficiency, because it has signs of, I would say, a few deficiencies there. The tips of the leaves, it's usually potassium. Magnesium will be in between the little leaf veins, and then your nitrogen is just pure yellow. So you have a bit of a mix of everything. What week of flower is your plant in right now?
4. This would be day 26. 4 weeks would be Sunday.
Okay, yeah, it's a little bit too early to be having nutrient deficiencies. What are you feeding it right now?
Oh yeah. I've been using Athena, but and everything went fine up until now. I mean, it's been the same feeding basically.
And you're getting decent
From what
amount
I've
of
been-
runoff when you water it?
That might be a problem. That might be. I'm starting to do a lot more flushing during the day. Like right now, I just tested this at 10 EC.
10 EC is very high, yeah.
Yeah, that could be the problem. Like
Yeah.
then what happens
Yeah.
is you get too much nutrient and it locks the other ones out. I would really focus on washing off that root zone until it's below 3, like 4. 5 is like pushing it. Above 5 is when you want to kind of wash it off. It's a problem I'm having, for example, with the plant that I'm growing along for the Global Grow Cup, is that the water is not really going through it anymore, and it's getting into some issues. But yours is a little bit too young still to be able to finish off the flowering cycle, with efficiency. So if it was already almost done, it's no problem. Now, I would say, continue just doing your flush, and as Jimmy here. Oh, Jimmy, good to see you. As Jimmy is suggesting here, keep flushing it until your EC comes down. I would just continue doing that. Are you getting that runoff pretty quickly once you water it, or does it take a while?
Oh no, it takes about. Well, this thing will only do a 20-second shot at the minimum, so I had to pipe it back in halfway through, so half of it goes back into the tank, and it probably takes about 10 shots. This thing, I was just in the middle of checking it now. But one shot will fill it right up to the top, and then it takes a while for it to go down.
Okay,
if you can see that.
Yeah. But then does it eventually go down all the way to the bottom and runs off?
Yeah, it will. It will. Like right now. But I had to hit that button a good 5 times before it happened.
Okay, yeah. So I think that's.
It seems like it takes quite a bit of water before it starts running out the bottom.
Yeah.
So I think
for sure.
maybe I'm gonna have to do a lot of shots every couple hours.
Yeah. Mix Masters says that the pot might be a bit too small. Mix Masters, we're doing a little competition called the Global Grow Cup. So you're stuck in a 16-ounce container. So I do appreciate that. That's a great point. But it is a competition which requires this. So.
But no, Brian, other than that, though, the plant's looking great. It's
I'm thinking
it's flat. But a good flush will do.
I'm wondering if I should cut them.
So go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, at noontime, I brought it back down to 3.5 EC, and within a couple hours, it's back up. So I'm wondering if I should cut my nutrients down.
Well, the EC might be just the EC. That's what you're feeding it. Like it
So
might not
what-
be
yeah.
pulling out the 10.
Oh no! It's going in at 3. Might be a little high now because I added a little not magnesium, but Epsom salt, magnesium and sulfur, because I saw the deficiencies, but it looked like a deficiency. But then I realized how high the EC was getting during the day.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Adding more is not going to help you because it's a lockout issue that you have. So I would really just focus on 1, start feeding, and maybe 2, just until you get it under control. And then, maybe go back to 2.5 or 3. I usually don't go that high. Yeah, that one it's just a mixture of deficiencies. There's a number of them there. So that's where I would, just do that. And what's the pH that you're feeding it at?
5 7, right? I'm trying to hit 5.8, but I let it go down a little lower, thinking it would just give it a little leeway. I don't know, because it does
You're in
seem to
Colorado,
rise. Rockwell.
So yeah, no, that you want to be on the lower end. But what is your runoff? Did you measure the runoff pH?
6.4 was the last one.
6.4. Okay.
6.4.
So it's rising quite a bit in there. So yeah, I would try to maybe, because Rockwool, you can go as low as 5.5 and then feed it at that, feed that EC and get runoff every day. Like at this point, you should be looking for a runoff every day.
Would you say the pH might be a bit low going
Oh, no, I do. Every
You do? Okay.
Cool.
Oh, excellent, Brian. Well, thanks for
a couple times a day. But I think I think the runoff has to be every time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So runoff every time until it gets under control. Then you can maybe get runoff once every few days. But
I wouldn't even do that in a cup that small, man. Like
that's right.
Gonna be so crazy.
The buildup is very crazy. So that's
just so you know, like I'm every time I water it, like I'm getting runoff 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah. No, it's worth it.
I think it's definitely worth it, especially because you're this far in. But anyways, we got a couple more to go to, Brian. So we're gonna get you out of here. Please do come back next week so we can see how it's responding to the flushes, because I think that's something that everybody can gain from. So thank you so much for showing it off, and have a great weekend.
Cheers, Brian.
All right, we got Fireman Sam up next, and then Barbed Wire. I'm going to give Fireman Sam just a second to show us some plants, so I know he's ready to go, which we got the green light there. Before we go to him, we just did get a question from Charles that we kind of touched on in that little breakdown there. Is, do you have to water to run off?
It depends on a few factors. So if you're growing organic, you won't water to runoff because you purposely want to keep all of those microbes in there. However, if you're using salt-based nutrients, what happens is that your plant will absorb certain amount of those nutrients that is in the fertilizer mix you bought. However, some of them are not absorbed, and then they stay in the soil or your cocoa or your rock wool, whatever it is. So if you don't get runoff, then you water it again with the same nutrients, maybe, a little bit of a different formula because now the plant is further along, but the plant's still not absorbing those nutrients that it wasn't before. So now you already have some nutrients left over from before, plus the new ones. And now that builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And that's why the EC, your ppm on your root level goes up, because there's fertilizer that the plant is saying, I don't need this. I only need some of the other ones, right? So it's kind of like being fed an entire buffet and you only want to eat certain foods, and then you get the same buffet again and the same buffet again, and you're like, I'm leaving all of this shit behind. Why are you feeding it to me again and again?
Right? I think a better analogy would be like trying to feed your kid, and you got a little piece of chicken, you got some potatoes, and you got the broccoli, and it's like the broccoli's always left over there, right? It's like the next meal, let's say you left because of a punishment, like my parents used to do. They used to say, you finish your vegetables or you can sit at the dinner table until you eat, right? So let's pretend that you're that parent. You leave the broccoli there from the night before. Oh, it's just going to pile up and pile up and pile up. Where that runoff is, we're going to toss that old broccoli, give the kid another chance. Maybe tell him, hey, if you have one, we'll get rid of the other 2 broccolis, and then we'll start with a new plate later on.
That's right.
Let's go to Fireman Sam.
Hello.
Thank you for waiting.
Hey. How are you doing?
Looks like a pheno hunt there, right?
Yes, this is the pheno hunt. I've potted them up since we saw last week.
Right on.
There's the runt of the litter, but I'm just sort of like seeing what's going to happen with it, because it hasn't caught up with the rest of them. And there's my clones ready to go into the 4x4 I'm setting up tonight with the Evo 8. These are the mums that I need to take clones of, which you've been going on about lovely deficiencies. My pH was well off. because of what size pot they're in, and they was a bit root bound, they are. So I had to flush it. And the new growth is starting to now come through, which is a lot better. Which is now green, and the stems are starting to go green again. And my little auto is going along well in its little 10 centimeter cup. Pot, I mean.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Excellent. So what light cycle do you have going in there right now?
This is an 18.6 life cycle in this tent at the moment, which it will be going ready for this pheno hunt once the auto pot system turns up, which I'm waiting for. And then they can go in the auto pots and then basically flower out in this tent. But fingers crossed, it needs to finish up before that.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like
I was about to say that girl in the middle is spread right out now.
Yeah, it's looking great. It's got a lot of buds over there.
Yes, and I've just noticed a little bit of an issue a minute ago. I might have forgot to water this one at the back here yesterday.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
Because of its time. I was about to say, I just gave it a watering, so it should bounce back. And these are the other mums at the moment that I'm sort of like nursing back to health because of they're in small pots and they've just become quite root bound because I let them get too big.
It happens. I mean, you're the fireman. You should have the fireman hose there with all the water for those plants.
Yeah. I was about to say, it's great fun filtering the RO water a lot.
That's it. No, good update, fireman Sam.
I was about to say, remember the grow that I've done and I've chopped down now?
Oh,
nice.
Right on.
There you go.
Look at that.
And they're in drying at the moment. But the big one kind of flopped about so much, so I just had to literally chop it down and not do whole plant. Because being on your own is a bit hard to lift it. It was.
Wow. Yeah, no, that looks like a good pound and a half of bud with all those plants over there.
And then we got my regular as well that's coming along slowly.
Oh, yeah.
Which she's on, I think, about day 20 now.
Excellent.
But she's still in a 15 centimeter pot as well.
So how long have you been growing, if you don't mind me asking?
Probably about 15 years.
Very cool. So when you first started your indoor grow, did you just start with one tent and then you just slowly expanded, or did you go all out?
I actually we started off in a tent and then we moved out to rooms, which I've only just started growing again recently.
Very
Because
cool.
I stopped for quite a while because of the children and stuff. And not being legal here in the UK is great fun.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even hear what he said.
Yeah.
Wait,
In
wait,
the
wait.
UK, I was about to say, I'm in the UK, so it's not legal over here.
Yeah, I know. I think my joke went over your head a little bit, but it's all good.
Oh, sorry, I didn't actually hear it.
Oh, I was just saying, don't ask, don't tell kind of deal.
Yes, that's what it is like over here. Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah. We got barbed wire coming up next, so thank you so much for jumping on.
Thank you very much for jumping.
Please come on again. Yeah, have a great weekend.
Thanks.
Cheers. All right, barbed wire's dealing with some mold apparently, so let's figure it out. Let's see what happens.
Barbed wire. Oh, I think you're muted. Oh.
We can't. You need to unmute yourself. Sorry, you're muted right now. I wish you would let me do it. It should be a little button with a mic on your the bottom side there.
Got it.
There you go.
Got it.
Perfect.
There you go. Okay, we got you now. So I don't know. Of course, it's this one. It got some. I don't know if it was because of the cold or something. I got a new phone and a new camera, so let me see.
Ooh, looks great. Yeah, actually, I just noticed that. It's crisp.
Where are we looking?
Yeah, I've got the PM on
Okay, hang on. Let me.
Oh,
I'm gonna lose my glasses.
Does it go sideways like horizontal mode?
I don't know.
If you just
I
rotate
I literally just got
iPhone?
this phone. Does it matter? No.
No, yeah, no, but that looks like. Oh yeah, there we
There
go.
you go.
Looks like
There you
powdery
go.
mildew, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's a little powdery mildew. So, like, number one, you can always start by just removing those leaves. It's one of those things that you can't do if you're growing commercially, but if you're just growing at home every day, you can come there, look for the leaves that have new powdery mildew, just remove them. So that's just it's called a physical prevention. Like you're just using, the removal of the leaves as the prevention method. And I think that they're pretty well defoliated already. That there's
Well, yeah,
very
you know, I got worried after you said that it looked a little crowded, so I took a lot more out. But like, what about all these fan leaves? Your guys don't have all that, do you?
Yeah, so no, you can leave them there definitely because they're important to capture the light and push it to the flower so that they get stronger. Now, the thing is too, if you remove all of your fan leaves, then the powdery mildew doesn't have anywhere else to go but to your flower, So once you find powdery mildew like that, it means it's already got spores and the spores are going out and trying to land elsewhere. So the best thing to do is to just remove them slowly, one by one. By the time you're harvesting that plant, you're going to have done all of your trim basically with the fan leaves, and then it's going to be pretty much just buds at that point. So you can slowly control it that way. It would be easiest. You don't want to like strip it down right now, remove all the leaves, and then you end up still getting a little bit of powdery mildew. Unfortunately, like some places, I've lived in a place where every year there was powdery mildew. There was nothing you could do about it. And place where I live now, you can grow. It doesn't get as much light in the late season, which sucks, but you don't get any powdery mildew or botrytis. So, it just depends. And you might end up finding powdery mildew on the plants beside it, unless they, of course, have some more of a strength against powdery mildew. The other thing you can do,
got a couple comments about milk. Is that true?
Milk can help. I'm not too sure about that. I can't.
Two different accounts saying milk, but
yeah, I can't testify with that. But what does work is hydrogen peroxide. So Zerotol is a very popular product used here in Canada, for example. It's the only approved product for powdery mildew, and all it is hydrogen peroxide. So you can buy hydrogen peroxide at Walmart, 3% or 1%, whatever the percentage is, and you can spray that with the half water, half hydrogen peroxide on your leaves, and that tends to control it really well. You have to do that once a week, and typically a sprayer that makes a mist that's very thin is the best. And then you just really have to go through all the leaves. However, best is the way your blue dream is defoliated is already good. You shouldn't go too much further than that. So only pick the leaves that are affected from this point on. And the other plants, you can defoliate them to the same extent so that they're also not, there's no leaves on top of each other. That's usually the problem, because then the powdery mildew lands there. That's the perfect environment for it to develop, right? So do a preventive defoliation on the others, and then pay attention to your blue dream. And if
this one needs more, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I would. Let's see the bottom. Let's just see the bottom though, like how much you've already done. It's not too bad. Like, yeah, because that's you see. I'm looking. I can see the sky through it, which means that there's still some air there. So what I would do is remove the lower leaves as you go, because they're weaker. They're not catching as much light, and usually the powdery mildew.
See, this is a little too.
Yeah. Remove that.
King Lucky just said a good comment. Because the plants are so close together, like, would you maybe try to separate them a little bit, or it's just they're going to get it either way? Maybe. Yeah, like within the backyard. I mean, the spores are so small; they go through the wind, and they're going to land on the neighbors. Like they just go. So yes, but we would help to remove those leaves as well. They're barbed wire. So now it just means you're going to have to come here and check your plants every day. Do a scan. You're going to get used to your plants. Do a scan from here to there, from here to there, like you're literally looking, going from back and forth until you've seen all the leaves. Remove those ones. Come with a plastic bag, and every day you're going to come out with a few leaves from each plant, for example, until it's harvested.
Okay, I did look like a little research on it, and they with zucchini and stuff like that, and I did a mixture of baking soda, water, and a splash of detergent, and I sprayed that on them yesterday till they were dripping. So that was another thing that I saw off of YouTube, and like from my local channel, gardener lady that was on said that too.
Yeah, I
don't know if
mean,
it's
like
gonna work.
certain things will certainly kill it, but do you want detergent on your bud? You know what I mean? So I
Well,
wouldn't.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that
Gotta
from now
wash
on
it.
because
You've won the battle, but at what cost? Bart?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. You're gonna end up smoking some detergent weed. That's maybe
We
part
got
of
the
that.
bath salts weed before GTA 6.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah. No, so that's the only danger there, Barbara. That's why, for example, another
Okay.
thing that works really well is called neem oil. But neem oil, not only does it stink like real bad, you have to mix it with a little bit of detergent, and then it's on your flowers. I've done that before, and I was lucky that it was early enough, and I got enough rain on top of the plant to wash it off because it was smelling for like 2 weeks. So the truth is, these things, they do happen. You have that physical mechanical control of removing the leaves, and then you also have the ability to do just some hydrogen peroxide. It's like
Okay.
just like water. It mixes.
Yep.
Do a half and half, and then you spray it on your plants. You do need a sprayer. Like if you're doing with a hand sprayer, your farms are gonna get toasted.
Yeah,
by
I got
that.
a little one of those AC Infinity plugs in battery one.
Oh,
works pretty
perfect.
nice.
Yeah, those are excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So just
Yeah.
put a very fine.
You don't have
mist
to
and-
work too hard.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right, Barb.
All right.
Thank you for showing
Well,
it off. Sorry
thank
to hear
you,
about
guys.
COVID.
Yeah, no, of course. Like you don't have a bad case, by the way. Like this is just very mild. The thing is, don't leave them alone because it goes from 1 leaf to 10 from 10 to 100, and then
Yeah.
it's out of control. So
and I washed my tools and everything in alcohol today. Yeah, because I was cutting with
that's
those.
excellent.
So okay. Yeah.
Right up. No,
Okay.
good stuff.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you
All right.
later.
Yeah,
All right, guys. Wow, this one flew by. We're at 57 minutes already.
I know. Yeah, it just went.
Yeah, we are now calling this Growin Buds. Thank you guys for coming to our first episode of Growin Buds.
I know. Maybe we should get a sign.
Yeah.
Replace that banner there and just says Growin Buds.
Yeah.
instead.
I want neon. I've been asking for like a neon BudTrainer logo
I know,
for a while, but
we do need one
these
of
are
those.
things that are wants, not needs. And
That's right.
in this economy, the needs are getting all the money.
That's right.
But yeah, in celebration of the new name, let's go with the giveaway hashtag Growing Buds with no G, Growin. So just the GROWIN Buds, no apostrophe or anything like that. And you could win one of our brand new 40 packs of Bud Clips. We're calling these the Bud Clips sleeve. Has a nice little window so that you can see which color you're buying. If you're not the winner, it's got a matte finish. It's super nice packaging. So despite being recycled cardboard, it's a packaging that's probably going to last you quite a while if you take care of it, and it's going to look nice in your toolkit for gardening. So
That's right, guys.
please do put hashtag Growin Buds into YouTube or Facebook only. You won't be able to do that from Instagram, so we'll give anybody who's still on Instagram a little bit to come over. L Rookies is there. He says we're here. Sorry, you might be a little lonely over in that chat. Come on over to YouTube. It's a much better platform to engage with all the fun folks in the comments there, or Facebook as well. We'd love you guys to be coming through Facebook.
So let's share the giveaway.
We're at 26 already.
Alrighty, guys.
Share
We
this
can get
tab
a
instead.
few more in there. We'll wait a couple more minutes before we send you up for the weekend.
It's nice to see Jimmy in the chat. Always
I
nice
know.
to see the guys from Biofloro. We love them. They were our first distributor. They're a great distributor of equipment for not only hydroponic stores, but also LPs.
That's right. Yeah.
So
they take care of licensed producers from coast to
yeah,
coast.
great people, been doing it for a long time, and very supportive for us. So we appreciate them. Growin Buds has 30 entries, guys. Come on, you want a brand new sleeve? You're probably gonna be the first person to have
That's
this,
right. Yeah, exactly.
And the brand new clips with the
And
logos on the back.
If you do already have enough clips, guys, you can ask for something else. That's no problem. Or you might want to give one of these to someone as a gift. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at these, they will make for an interesting Christmas gift shape. You know, nobody would
It's a
guess.
stocking stuffer.
Yeah, it's a great stocking stuffer. Yeah, it might stick out of the stocking a little bit, this one here, but yeah, it would make for a great one.
All right, I'm not seeing too many more coming through. Oh, there's one, so I lied. Maybe we'll see if we can get the 35.
35 entries, guys.
Yeah,
And
there
we
it
go.
is.
Let's
All right,
do it.
guys, we're gonna run it. 35, 3, 2, 1, and go. Good luck to the winner. Once we're done here, guys, have a great weekend. Come back next week for another episode of Growin Buds. Hopefully, we have some follow-ups from the people who joined.
All right,
Anthony Rafferty.
Alrighty.
Oh my goodness, this guy is a lucky man.
I know.
Look at that. He can't even believe it. Mind blown.
Anthony, you have some gift giving to do.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're lacking any of our products at this point.
Anthony had the coaching too, right?
I don't think so. I think it was someone else. But yes, Anthony,
he's
congrats.
got our whole lineup, I think.
Yeah,
So
I think
maybe
so
he's
too.
going to want the new packaging. Maybe he's going to be a collector. I'm sure Anthony probably wishes that we were the guys running like a lottery instead of a BudTrainer giveaway, because running the lottery 3 times or 4 times would have been nice. So
that's it.
Congrats, Anthony. I would say the normal instructions on how to claim your prize, but you probably know exactly how to do that already. So yeah, guys, 55 people watching on Facebook and YouTube. We had people in and out on Instagram. We appreciate everybody for being here and showing your support, and we love to see what you guys can do with our products.
That's right.
Yeah, you guys are killing it out there. So
thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, peace out.